Hello, Speed Gaming 3. It's me, Woat. And in the booth tonight, I've got my co-commentator with me. Isn't that right, Woat? Sure is, Woat. And this is going to be one heck of a matchup. We've got Kyuketsuki and DDG in a battle of elimination, both of them at 1 and 3. And one of them gets to go on to attempt to get into the play-in race, while the other gets to go party with the old men. And me. I'm not biased on this one, but I would point out that this is partially Kyuketsuki's fault that I'm partying with the old men, so it would only be fitting. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. We've got Super Luigi tracking with us tonight, and I'm about to let the runners out the gate. So if y'all just give me just a moment to get that going, we can get going. Alright, we are about to be off. So, as the folks in chat noticed, both runners are opting to go for a Mage Rainbow tonight. That being the Fighter, White Mage, Red Mage, Black Mage. 3 guesses why it's called a Mage Rainbow, and 2 of them don't count. In any case, since Thief is banned this week, boo, this is probably the strongest combination you're going to get, unless you feel like doing something really dumb. Like, I don't know, 3 black mages and a white mage. Or something strong or gutsy like multiple red mages, but that's neither here nor there. They've chosen to go with mages and a fighter, so let's see what happens. And yeah, I know that Woad is drowning me out, but what can you do? He's a loud one. So we got Heal 3 and Exit there in first level White Magic, and first level Black Magic is showing Fire 2, Lit 2, and Confusion. I'd be surprised if they bothered to pick up anything other than Fire 2 and Lit 2, but we're just gonna have to go with this. In any case... we also have Cure 2 and Harm 3 in White Magic. The Heal 3 and the Exit's probably the 2 most important spells. The Cure 2's not as good as the Heal 3, in complete honesty. And Harm 3 is okay in a pinch, but with that Fire 2 in hand, you really don't need the Harm 3, so... At the very least, no hard decisions for our players out the gate. So it looks like Q is starting out trying to get a gauge on the step count, which, little known fact, those spaces between the forests there are not actually encounter spaces. So if you're trying to get a fight, don't walk in front of the city, walk in the woods. Little tip from me to you. Looks like after that first fight, which is a respectable number of steps in, there is a nice long run. Holy cow. Yeah, DG was able to run all the way from Canaria to almost that bottom left chest. In any case, wow, zombies packing a punch, but they're also not wearing armor, so I think everything packs a punch right now. But they did just find a silver helmet there in that chest, so DG is going to be in good shape. But let's see how long this third encounter is from the entrance while Q continues to make his way up. Actually, oh! Frost spiders! Fun! Q at least did get a cabin before rolling out after fighting those imps, so he should have actually been in kind of okay shape. Because he'll draw to fight here, because I think he power cycled. And never mind, it's going to be the zombie fight. Now the nice thing if you had multiple cabins would be once you, with that exit, you could check these chests, exit out and save, and then go fight Garland. But I think Q's gonna find out about the spiders here in a second. That's gonna make Marsh Cave unpleasant though. So, oh, but that black shirt's nice. That is a free ice too, so right now the players have access to all 3 of the level 2 elemental spells, and that's gonna come in handy, and there's that frost spider. Now, Q may consider leaving that black shirt behind unless he's just gonna dig deeper into the encounter table, which it looks like he's doing because I don't think we've seen this wolf fight yet. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with how this game works, you're basically looking at a encounter table that is fixed in terms of how many steps you take before you see a fight and which fight that's going to be in the eyes of the table. That doesn't mean you know what that fight's going to be because we have shuffled all of that, but you can kind of get a gauge on when runners reset and don't reset based on what fights they're seeing. If you see something like the wolves that you didn't see before, you know that they're on a different encounter table than what they were previously dealing with. Anyway, DDG is the first one to take out Garland, and the bats are guarding the princess with their lives. And he's just going to... Oh! Heat bones. That's nice. If the other one casts heat, that's a problem, though, but the black mage gets the black shirt off in time, no one died. That's really the best outcome you can imagine. Also, 1 second, I am on push to talk, and I'm realizing this is probably going to be a mistake, so give me just 1 second to change my mic over. Alright, can y'all still hear me? I hope you can still hear me, because I'm gonna keep talking like you can. So that's a ruby and a crown at the king and the princess, so I guess we have the Canarian family jewels now? In any case, though, that may get one of them to consider going ahead and heading for Northwest Castle. With the stuff we found so far, that's not the greatest play, but if either runner feels like they want to try and take a gamble and get an edge on their opponent, that is a play you can make. In any case, though, I'm gonna try not to breathe too hard, just because now I'm hot mic all the time, but we'll do our best. Anyway, so it looks like DDG is going to go ahead and follow that crown, or at least head as far as the dwarves to see what he can see. Q, on the other hand, is going to head back to Canaria first and stock up. But at the moment... Alright, DDG is in the dwarves, and here... Oh! Well, there's a sun sword. As you all know, that is my co-commentator's favorite sword in the game, isn't that right? Absolutely! Sun sword for life, y'all! You can't see me doing the hand gestures, but I totally am doing hand gestures. But, I know, I personally don't think the sun sword meme's worth it, but, you know, what are you gonna do? You got the guy in the booth, you have to bring it up, isn't that right? Yeah. Oh, hey, I didn't see the silver swords before in Canaria, so that's gonna be nice for the early game melee with that sun sword and silver sword in hand. But, getting back to the point, DDG has decided he's going to head to Northwest Castle and go ahead and take out Astos. Or at least, see if he can take out Astos. That Sun Sword's probably going to give him enough confidence to do that. Anyway, we're going to see what Q opts to do. He may go ahead and take the bridge just because he doesn't know he's going to find that Sun Sword, and his early game troubles may compel him to do otherwise. Which is going to be a pity, because if DDG can get through this fight, he is going to have a nice ship waiting for him in Elfland. Mostly because I don't think that the ship spawns at dwarves yet. I think that was something someone noticed recently. But even though the dwarf cave is closer to Northwest Castle than the Elfland dock, the ship will spawn at Elfland, I believe, right now. But yeah, it is looking like Astos is way too beefy for the Sun Sword at level 3. But you know, he could get a crit, and that'll do some damage. Well, he's not going to get a crit now, because that's a dead fighter. But he still has that black shirt, he still has the ability to occasionally damage Astos. He also probably has 2 rounds to do it, and he gets it done. So DDG is going to get that ship and continue on his way to Elfland. Q, meanwhile, did go ahead and check Matoya's cave. I don't believe we saw very much there, but he's going to probably press on to the Revoca area to see what he can see, maybe find some spells that he wants. Oh! But DDG is going to turn around and head back. Maybe not remembering... Wait! Okay, yeah, he is remembering that he needs to go back to, Elfland to get his boat. So... this is at least going to be some good experience for his mages. Okay, he is going to go ahead and head back to Canaria to get that party revived. He might not feel confident heading down to Elfland yet. Anyway, Q is continuing on his way. He's got plenty of AoE to clear out these packs. As long as he doesn't run into any spiders, he should be fine. I don't think anything else has shown nastiness that we're going to see on the route to Revoca. So, while we're kind of waiting here, Q has opted to name his party after his Final Fantasy XIV group, with his fighter being named after his character in particular. And I believe DDG has opted to name his red mage Sander, or ISS for short, because this is Final Fantasy I. He ain't fitting a Sander in, you know, less than 2 characters. Characters as in party members, not characters as in letters. But in Provoca, we have Crescent Lake. That's not going to be very helpful for making your party more dangerous. However, it is going to be nice for that key item. So, we'll see if this pays off for Q, or if he's going to just wind up getting... Well, he can't get the ruby, so whatever he gets is going to be helpful. Probably. And it's the herb, so this could work out a little bit for Q if he doesn't have any trouble with Astos, because he can just check the Elf Prince while picking up his boat, and then only have to think about that corner of the world when he inevitably has to go back to Marsh Cave. And Elfland is Melmond. So that's interesting. Oh, hey! Excuse me, life is available, as is Wall. I'm going to talk about when life is available in Melmond, though. That is forbidden. But DDG is going to get on his boat, and the seas are open to him. For those of you who are unaware, the theme of this tournament is Sail the High Seas, so this is very in keeping with what they're doing. So, with Melmond being in Elfland, DDG had no choice but to come back to Canaria anyway. But he is back in Canaria, he has a living party again, and he's going to go ahead and stock up on a few other essentials, like save items and health. Meanwhile, Q looks like he's just going to be taking fights across the overworld on his way, or at least the easy ones, like iguanas. Get the HP he needs to go ahead and... He may be angling to take out to make sure he has the levels needed to take out Astos. But, regardless... Oh! Actually, wait. I think he may be trying to make a Peninsula power play. He doesn't have a canoe, so there's no other reason for him to be going this way. So, we'll see if that pays off for him. I don't know if the magic he has is good enough to make this play really work out for him, but... I mean, worst case scenario, he'll find out what some of the enemies he'll be bumping into more of later have, and that's always helpful to know. Meanwhile, DDG is still out on the ocean. I think he's probably heading toward the Melmond area? Well, wait. He hasn't checked Provoca yet, so he's probably going to go check Provoca spot right now and then double back for the Melmond area in a bit. Anyway, while we're at the standstill, let's see here. You guys talking in chat? Okay. Also, I hope that y'all can't hear the dog barking in the background, because there's not much I can do about that. He is literally deaf, so you can't even yell at him to be quiet anymore. But regardless, Q is doing that pop grind, DDG taking good advantage of that exit, and we are kind of in one of those waiting to see what the runners are going to do next. So at this point, we have a ruby in hand, so we know one of our loose items is going to be something that we need. And, yeah. Let's see here. He is a good dog. I mean, he didn't listen even when he could hear you, but he's a good dog anyway. So, let's see here. DDG has finished up his work in Provoca. With that herb in hand, he is probably going to head down to Elfland, get that check done real quick. And... no, he's going to do Matoya first. That's right, he took the ship. So, let's see here. Q is going to be in a holding pattern for a little bit. I mean, enjoy terrible... wow, that's... those are some starry frost wolves there. That's going to make Ice Cave a little bit interesting. They have to make that play sooner rather than later. To answer the question, chat, the old men had the herb. So, yeah, DDG finding that there's not much in Matoya's cave is going to go ahead and make that trip over to Elfland. So, let's see here. At this point, I think we're kind of I think these two runners need Melmond or Onrak, or Crescent, I guess, as well, to be Provoca. So, because oh no, we have the Ruby! We can go talk to Sarda. Okay, ignore me. So, right now, probably the play we're going to see out of at least one of these runners is check Melmond, turn in that Ruby to Sarda at the same time, and then kind of play from there based on what you find at Sarda, if it turns out Melmond is Provoca. And yeah, Q is not having a lot of luck with this pop grind. Those level 2 spells are good, but they just don't necessarily have the raw killing power for the kinds of stats you can see out of these enemies. So DDG is going to pop into town for a second, and then pop back out. Alright, so DDG is turning in that herb, and what are we getting in response? Oh, hey, TNT! You're coming in handy! So, DDG is probably going to go ahead and turn this TNT. He's in the Inner Sea already, and if he winds up needing to double back later, that's going to feel bad, man. And Q manages to actually get that Tyro killed, so he is now level 8 on his Red Mage and his White Mage. Which may prove problematic for getting out of here, but I'm sure he'll manage. I mean, these Stun Touch Arachnids are not going to make it easy for him to run away, but I'm sure he'll manage. Chat pointing out that this is probably the result of a little bit of the Elf King being very, very tired after trying to destroy the world. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, DDG is going to go ahead and turn in this TNT. He's got Exit, so this isn't the worst check you can make, but it's still annoying. Let's see, though. So Q is going ahead and restocking. I wonder if he's going to head back to do a little bit more of the old pop grind, or if having level 8 on at least one of his attacking mages is good enough for him. Anyway, we got the slab from Narek the Dwarf, so that's going to be interesting. Because that leads you back to the Elfland area again, and I suspect DDG will probably do that just so that he doesn't have it hanging over his head if it turns out, like, Melmond is Lefane, or Crescent Lake's Lefane. You know, somewhere where it's still close enough to where you can double back, but where you really don't want to. That surprised me, though. I might decide to gamble that Lefane's not at Melmond, and he can just turn in that slab on the way, but nah, he's gonna go for that. So Q has decided that he's gotten enough experience at Peninsula Power, he's gonna go ahead and head on down. I imagine he'll have a slightly easier Astos fight than DDG did, just because he's got a couple extra levels on that fighter, and he's still gonna have a Sun Sword when he gets there. So, and then he's gonna have to do the same circuit that DDG just did. So, as of this moment, I would say DD's got a bit of a lead, just because he's already cleared out a bunch of checks, such as having that slab translated and all that. Whereas Q is going to have to kind of do that back and forth shuffle across the Inner Sea before he can really say he's good to go. Yeah. Sorry if there's some audio issues. I'm having to do a hot bite because otherwise my push-to-talk finger is going to get really, really tired really, really quickly. So I'm trying to kind of modulate the sound of my voice so you don't hear any extra things like breathing or mouth noises or things like that. So, yeah. I'll try to project a bit more, though, just to make sure that, like, it isn't too quiet. Anyway, Q is going to go ahead and do that Astos fight, so, you know, moment of silence for the kindly old king who turned out to be Astos the entire time. And see what happens. See how much damage his fighter did, but... Ah, that was smart. He moved his black shirt onto his white mage so he can put out 3 attack spells per turn. So this should go pretty quick. Yeah, there we go. Much easier. He's also probably got the HP to weather Astos' attacks, so he'll be in Melmond shortly. So it looks like DDG is opting to forget about Marsh Cave for now. I don't hate this move. So, and it is Provoca here in Melman, so both runners will be able to get 2 more items between here and Sarda's Cave. Did I see Fade? I think I saw Fade. So that is very nice. I mean, that could have been Fear. All I saw was the F. I'm gonna be honest there. Oh, I don't know if I saw the Quad X in Melman before, but that's also a nice spell to see lying around. Alright, cool. Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna... I mean, he didn't need Fade to deal with the pirates, so that's convenient for him. And that's a canoe. Okay. So, this leads to some options on the parts of the runners. They could opt to do the on-rack ordeal circuit, or they can go deeper. Yeah, so... yeah, there's no point in picking up any of the other spells. They're going to want their level 2 magic solely for Fade. And there is Quack and Brack! Nice! So... let's see here. So again, this is where things are going to open up a little bit. I think we're going to see both runners make that Sarda check. That's kind of a given. But after that, that's where things are going to get interesting, because they can check Marsh, Volcano, and Ice with that canoe in hand. Or they can head down to the on-rack ordeals circuit, like I was saying, and go ahead and knock out those 2 checks. Now, technically, the Marsh and Ice Cave dives are the safer option in that those are the lower level checks they can make. But, considering that I believe you can run to spiders in Marsh Cave still, and we know that those spiders frost early, and, well, we don't know how often they do it because you're dead after the frost. I don't know if either runner is going to want to touch Marsh Cave, and at that point you're basically checking Volcano and diving Ice, and seeing if either there's a loose item in Volcano, or if Ice has that vanilla floater that you probably wanted. So, I'd say right now it's a 60-40 that both runners are going to head for on-rack and ordeals. You got that Fire 2, you got that Fade. That's all the firepower you need to go ahead and pick up some cheap levels, digging out ordeals in Waterfall Cave. And yeah, so DDG is heading toward the Titan's Tunnel. He's also going to be able to check the 4 chests behind the Titan. Also, for those of you who do care, the Titan is going to get fed today. Mostly because neither runner's going to hold off on Sarda, I assume, to find the floater. Partially because there's a good chance Sarda has it. So yeah. DDG, not really, hurting from not doing that Peninsula Power Play, it looks like. And, alright, yeah, he's gonna hold off on checking those chests until he's on his way back, it looks like. Just to avoid... no, never mind. I think he just remembered he has exit, so he can make this in and out really quick. Alright, so... moving along. So DDG is going to go ahead and go talk to Sarda. So, like I said before, at this point we have a ruby in hand, so we know one of our loose items, at least, is going to be important. If we see a ribbon off of any of the remaining incentive spots, that's the NPCs who give you stuff, and the key item chests in Ordeals, Marsh, and Ice Cave, then we know that we need both loose items. So, both of these runners are kind of in that in-between state where they know they have to check chests, but they don't know if they need to keep checking chests after they find a key item. But Sarda will remain giving us no answer. He's going to hand over the loot, and... okay, I like that play from DDG. Seeing the loot, he resets out. You do not need the loot until you head into Temple of Fiends Revisited, so... he's just gonna wait until he has the floater to come back and get that. And... for his sake, I kinda hope that the floater isn't, you know, in the middle left chest on the 3rd floor of the floating fortress or something like that. That would be awful, wouldn't it, chat? We'd never want to see something trolly like that. This is me implying that we really, really do. but I'm not wanting to be openly mean to the runners. Alright, so, thanking Will Cleosis for his compliment to my co-commentator, let's move right along. So Q's found Provoca, he's going to be doing the same things DDG just did. And judging by his movements, I'm guessing that DDG is going to go ahead and check Crescent Lake, see what's there. He's got that canoe, so this isn't nearly as painful a check as it could be. And this is going to be the moment of truth. If he opts to continue on from here, this is a good place to head for Volcano and Ice Cave. And he does have that option. He also has the option to take that fade and pick up a few levels here outside, since Crescent Lake is basically the Peninsula Power, but with Fiends as well. So, it's not a bad play. And unless Lefane is here, it's a good way to reload. And we have Gaia. Now, we haven't seen the bottle yet, so we are going to have to come back here, but also haven't seen the vendor items, so this is a worthwhile check. Let's see here. And no vendor item here, so let's see, so we have a 1 in 3 shot of floater, well, no, we have a 1 in 4 shot of, I'm not going to do math live on Twitch, I'm going to stop right there, but at this point, if the vendor item isn't at On-Rack or the Caravan, then we are going to need the floater to get that, and that also means that it can't be the floater. But in the meantime, it looks like DDG is going to make that play up the river. I'm guessing going to Volcano, and yeah, it's going to Volcano. Cool. So, Volcano is an interesting play. You have a lot of... There's no key items there, but you do have a Fiend to fight that can be a pushover under the right conditions, and you have a lot of chests you can clear out very easily while dealing with enemies that generally you can plow through. Especially when you have that black shirt to ice to a lot of them. So... Let's see, I have to see a question in chat. Yes, no fighter is actually a possibility for the party setup. It's just that that at no point during this tournament has the fighter actually gotten banned. Which is going to be really entertaining if that happens next week during our last chance qualifier or the play-in race immediately thereafter. So, I didn't see what Grimps had aside from death. So, the question chat. Right, so let's kind of do a quick rundown while these runners are kind of making their way to their next... So, the fighter is generally a solid character to have. They have the possibility of learning some really good stuff, like, in this case, Heal 3 and Fade. And they also have access to, you know, the best armor in the game, the best weapons in the game. They get a lot of HP, they get a lot of M defense. Basically, if you can take a fighter, you generally want to, just because it makes you safer. Now, as for the question about the Red Mage, generally yes, because the way that this randomizer works, there's a flag called Keep Permissions that only fools like me will occasionally turn on. Keep Permissions makes it so you can only cast the spells that you could cast in the original game. Without Keep Permissions on, what happens is spell slots that would normally have a spell you could learn, you can still learn spells in, no matter what's there. So, for example, Fade, which is normally a level 8 spell that only the White Wizard can learn, is learnable by 3 party members in both players' parties, because everyone who can cast White Magic has access to level 2 White Magic. So, you're going to see a lot of Fades going out in the late game, because it's level 2 magic. Everyone but the Black Mage gets to use it. Now, personally, I like the Red Mage regardless of whether it's the randomizer or vanilla, because I have a weakness for snazzy hats and also balanced characters. So, yeah, so the banned force characters are random. One of our Eternian Mins, Tristal, every week, rolls on random.org a number between 1 and 6, and that determines first the forced character. This week it was the Black Mage, who we referred to as the Captain. And then the Thief is our banned character this week, and that also is randomly rolled for, and Kyu is making a gutsy play. So, he does not have the rod. He cannot finish Earth Cave, but he is gambling that DDG is not going to come here, and something that DDG will really want is going to be down here. So, this could prove interesting. Last year, during the tournament, we actually had one race that was decided because one of the runners, Demarine, she opted to do an early Earth play like this, and wound up finding a loose bottle, and her opponent didn't check Earth Cave until the almost very last place. And that gave her enough of a lead to, I believe, ultimately take that race. I may be mistaken on this, and I'm sorry, Demarine, if I've managed to forget that race, but, you know, it is what it is. So, anyway, getting back to things at the moment. Q's not found anything so far in the Earth Cave, and it looks like DDG hasn't really found too terribly much here in Volcano, aside from a ridiculous amount of money, so at the very least he should be good for buying things for a little while. But here's what we lovingly call the Armory, mostly because it's loaded down with chests and you find a lot of good stuff, and that is an unrunnable Grey Worm. So Grey Worms can either be pushovers, or they can make your life miserable. And today, it appears that they are middle of the road. They hit hard, but they also don't have a lot of armor yet. I don't think DDG has stopped in an armor shop, aside from in Canaria and Crescent. But we've got some Opal equipment. Opal is good once you have the class change. Oh, I guess the tail is another thing that they could hope is a loose item. But yeah, as Will is pointing out in chat, Q is going deeper into Earth Cave. Like I said, I would be surprised if he isn't committing at this point to digging out these first 3 floors. He knows that there is a loose item, and he knows opponents, that people generally do not like to dig Earth. So, let's see here. So yeah, DDG is going to go ahead and dig deeper into Volcano. I don't hate this play, unless Carrie rolls... Oh! Those are gargoyles with Cremate and Fast. I believe the term for this is the worst thing. And Q is going to say, you know what? Never mind. Earth Cave can wait. Actually, I believe... I'd have to check, Mikolosa, who is asking in chat if it's possible to keep spell levels the same, but change what shop spells are found in. And I believe that Shop Shuffle is not tied to, Spell Shuffle. So yes, actually you can have the vanilla spell list, but, you know, availability vary completely. I might be wrong on that, but I've got to stare at these 2 screens, so I can't actually check that at the moment. So if someone wants to go look and let Mikolosa in chat know, feel free, and I'll relay this for the folks on YouTube later. And it looks like Canuck is confirming that. And as is Trenton. Alright, thank you guys! So yeah, incidentally, speaking of the folks on YouTube, if you are watching the VOD of this, come hang out with us. You know, you may not be able to watch live, but you could always come join us on the Discord and chat. A lot of fine folks, including fan favorite Will Cleosis, found us through YouTube. So, you know, that's just a quick plug for the Discord, and if you can watch things live, I can think of very few places better to watch them live than Speed Gaming. You know, our friendly hosts here. They've got a lot of great channels, and a lot of great content. So, there's your plugs for the half-hour mark. Now, Q has finally gotten off the Melman continent. He's also going to go check Crescent Lake. So, we're going to see where we go from here. DDG has finally made it down to the Agama floor in the meantime. So, here's kind of your second treasure trove in Volcano. Lots of lava tiles, so it's also not too bad to check. Now, just real quick, for those of you who are unaware, the lava tiles in Final Fantasy I do not allow you to take encounters. Basically, any tile that has special properties is the same way. So, bottoms of closed-door rooms, damage tiles, spike tiles, that kind of thing. So, it's one of those things where it's actually really convenient to have that lava going. Just because it enables you to avoid taking fights that you don't want to take at the cost of an HP per step, which, on average, you're doing better. And that was a max price gold bracelet there in Gaia, so, our mages might be in some trouble. But there is a ribbon there on Agma floor. So the ribbon. For those of you who are unaware, the ribbon is essentially an item that grants the wearer all elemental resistances. And what that means in practice is it makes basically any spell that has an elemental component, the elements in this game being fire, ice, lightning, earth, poison, status, time, and death. Basically, it makes any spell that has an elemental component far less effective, especially instant kills, because their ability to kill is based on whether or not you save against them, and a ribbon basically makes it so you're almost guaranteed to save, especially once you have a few levels under your belt. In the meantime, though, it looks like Q has opted to go ahead and make this Volcano play as well. He's going to be happy to see that ribbon. But getting back to what I was saying. Non-elemental spells the ribbon does not help against, so Nuke, Nuclear, Swirl, Tornado, Death Touch, all of those abilities are things that you're definitely going to run into trouble with when it comes to the whole being horribly murdered thing. So, you know, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's definitely a good thing, but it's not the kind of permanent defense that, oh, item that gives me resistance to spells would imply in later games. So, and yeah, just real quick, again, shoutouts to our tracker Super Luigi, who is doing a fantastic job there, making sure that I can look down and remember all the things I'm saying, because I assure you at this point, I am completely on autopilot. Like, I am kind of just talking and letting the words happen, and we're hoping it's going to go well. DDG looks like he is opting to take an Agama grind, and I don't know if they're hitting really hard or what, but he is definitely doing a two-man grind at this point. With that Sun Sword in hand, that's not a bad thing, and I think there's a... He is exiting out. He's going to go ahead and save what he has gotten. He may be considering going back in with a full spell book. No, he is not. He's going to go ahead and roll on out of here. Probably going to head back to the Crescent Lake spot to revive his party. Not a bad play, but it's going to take him a few to kind of get back into the game. In the meantime, Q is continuing to go ahead and dig deeper into Volcano. I don't know if he's going to take the Agama fights, because he's already hovering at around level 10. So, if y'all will excuse me for just one moment, I need to make sure that folks know that I am in the middle of talking very quickly. So, take this moment to enjoy the lovely Guguru piano music and the battle music, and meditate upon the four orbs. And exhale. Namaste, everyone. Alright, so back to the action. So, Q getting some fights out of these R-Hydras. It looks like they don't have anything too nasty, which R-Hydras sometimes can have. So, let's see here. It looks like DDG is opting to go ahead and sail out of here. He may be thinking, that he wants to get some more experience somewhere, or he wants to fish out some key items. He's got that ribbon now, so it's a little more practical for him to do some damage. And, let's see here. Right. Yeah, he is heading for the on-rack ordeals area. Both of these, not bad plays. He's got the canoe in hand, so he can make every check in these two areas without too much trouble, and if the floater turns up in one of these spots, then he can just go ahead and kind of clean house. Actually, wait, he's turning around. He may be heading for Marsh Cave. Canuck, I'm not going to shout out Team Scrub until we've actually had a chance to practice. So, question chat, how many key items are the players at now? So, I believe, based on what I'm looking at, we are up to 8 key items. So, there were 10 key items, actually, because the canal and the bridge count as key items for the purposes of the key item experience boost, which is on at 12 items. And we have the ruby, the crown, the ship, the herb, the TNT, the slab, the canoe, and the loot. Now, DDG doesn't have the loot, so he's only at 9 key items, but I believe Q walked that loot out, so he should have 10 at this point. So, yeah. Now, it's one of those things, a couple more checks. So, yeah, DDG has decided he's going to do Marsh. I think he was thinking about on-rack, but remembered that Marsh is still an option. And I do not dislike this play. If it turns out that your floater's down here, then, you know, you can just go ahead and grab your airship, because the desert's pretty much one of the closest places by ship at this point. And if it's not down here, well, you get that extra key item. So let's see here. Q going ahead and for Agma Floor, DDG digging things out. So, let's see what we're gonna see here. Assuming he gets out of this fight with these toxic zombies. Oh, crap! Okay, zombies have toxic, ghouls have glare. I don't think DDG is going to be going to Ice Cave for a while. He better hope the floater's not in its vanilla location, cause... oh, that makes Ice Cave terrible. And Earth Cave. Ordeals is absolutely on the table. They have a ship, they have a canoe, and they have the crown if that was even flipped on. It's not. You can get into Ordeals even if, you know, the crown is in Ordeals. But, yeah, they have everything they could possibly want to go to Ordeals with. Except for maybe levels, but Ordeals is a good place to pick up levels, especially with that excessive Fire 2, that easy-to-cast Ice 2, and those Fades. So the only thing it looks like of note in Upper Marsh was that Pro Cape, which, it's nice, but not what you really want. Because unlike the Pro Ring, the Pro Cape just is a shield. It doesn't give you any defenses, doesn't give you anything that, you know, might help you make it out of this in one piece. Let's see, we got some shadows popping up over on DDG's side. They're going to go down pretty quick. Yeah, now there is no reason to keep that Pro Cape. Q, meanwhile, I believe is about to pick up that ribbon. Should be in the next batch of chests he checks. Now, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I think that this is going to be that Pro Cape. Yeah, alright. That is a good heads-up play from DDG. He remembered that left-hand chest in that room in Upper Marsh is linked with that chest that you walk right past. So, yeah, no, I like that play. If you are thinking of getting into the randomizer, learn your linked chests. I can actually recommend FijiMaps.com. Their Final Fantasy 1 maps do actually show which chests are linked. I don't think they mark spike tiles, but those are easy enough to learn. So, yeah, no, that was very smart by DDG there. And remind me to praise him for that when he gets in here after the race. Like, regardless of the outcome, because I don't know if I would have remembered to do that. So, getting back to what's going on, we're about to find out what is in this box. Yeah, you got 2 Fades, you got Lit 2, you can deal with these wizards, get some free XP. Not a bad play, and they are paper today. That's at least an upside to when he gets dice. And it's the tail. Okay, so that means that we're going to see a lot of digging today. Because if the tail were the other loose item, I could see the runners up, like, if the tail and the ribbon were the 2 loose items, the runners could get away with skipping chests, but that tail not being a loose item now, like, you may still have a loose ribbon, but the odds are very low now that you don't need both loose items. But yeah, fortunately DDG has that exit at his disposal. Once he checks this last chest in the upper right-hand corner of Marsh, he will be good to go. Q, in the meantime, has checked the Red Dragon chest, just found a ridiculous amount of money, and he is probably about to make his fight against Carrie. So, if Carrie's not, you know, just a brick wall of punching, we should have an Orblet here at about the 45-minute mark. We have not seen a confirmed loose item. We have found one of the ribbons. And because there's nothing to discern the quote-unquote loose ribbon from the other two ribbons, if all three ribbons are in chests, the only way we know that a ribbon is a key... The only way to know if a ribbon's a key item is to find all the key items and say, oh, we never got a ribbon from one of the incentive locations. So this Carrie's got a little bit of absorb on her, but, Q's got plenty of fades to go around, although the stun touch doesn't hit, but it doesn't matter. Carrie goes down to a fade. And that's gonna be level 13 for most of his party. That's a good point to be at for going on an adventure. So, PG, looks like maybe making that ice play. He's going... Yeah, he is following the coast north from the Horn of Melman, which is south of Earth Cave. Yeah, no, he's heading for Ice Cave. There is that small inlet that in Vanilla that you generally go to get to Ice Cave, and that's where he's heading. So, yep, there it is. He's heading into Ice Cave, it looks like. Or not. Okay, he changed his mind. Maybe was thinking that the trek up to Crescent was a little higher than he thought, or maybe figured he'd go ahead and deal with Volcano while he's here. Either way, Q leaving that Black Mage dead, I guess that makes sense. Really all he's seen so far that's going to be helpful in the endgame is Brack and Quack. And he's got a Black Mage. Well, he's got Fade on his Red Mage, so that's kind of more than enough to balance it out. Ah! You make an excellent point there, Thalphon. So, regardless, yeah, Q's got our first Orblet, and that Volcano trip did give him a ridiculous sum of money. So, he is going to go ahead and sell off a bunch of stuff and buy his mages some nice shiny jewelry. Alright, yeah, so DDG is picking his Black Mage up as well. So, alright. Yeah, I assume at this point, though, he's gonna double back for Ice Cave. There's no reason not to. Unless you're going to Volcano. Way to make me look less psychic, DDG. I really appreciate it. So yeah, right now both runners kind of stocking up here in Gaia for the trip ahead. Which, they've got enough money to make that all work. You know, get some houses, make sure you got plenty of heal potions, make sure you got a few cures, because we haven't seen too much of the poison effects yet, and if you go to Ice Cave, the odds of you bumping into something that can poison you is pretty high. There are a lot of enemies in Ice Cave, and that means there's a lot of chances for them to roll poison. So, either way, kind of, again, in one of those holding pattern moments. So, I'm surprised neither runner's making that on-rack ordeals play. Like, it is a longer trip back if you don't turn up the floater in those locations, but you get so much experience just digging out ordeals and waterfall that you're still kind of ahead of the curve, even if it turns out you need to go to Ice Cave for your floater. Yeah, Ribbon cannot be the vendor item. The vendor item is restricted to pretty much anything you can get from an NPC with the exception of, I believe, the ship and the canoe. Because those two are not technically items, they are flags that have text that make them look like items. So you can't buy either of those because the game can't set a flag from the item. And you couldn't buy a ribbon from the item shop because a ribbon's a piece of equipment rather than an item. So, and I see Will Cleosis is also saying that in chat, so good, I'm not crazy. Alright, so both of these runners are going to dive into Item Cave, so let's go ahead and find out which one of them is going to have fantastic luck and which of them is going to be stuck here for 20 minutes because RNG says no. Ah, yeah, and Thalfon is making a good point in chat. Canal and Bridge, which are free in these flags, can also have the floater, or can also not be in an item shop because they are also set by flag rather than by item. Looks like the Mummy Basilisk formation is unrunnable today. Someone help me out here. Is that the same formation in the game's eyes as the formation you later see? Oh, cockatrice, right. Is that the same formation that's on the trap tile in Waterfall? With the Whiz Mummies as well? I can't remember off the top of my head, and so, you know. And yeah, for those of you who are unaware, one of our flags in this, so we have what are called fun percent flags, which are flags that do not affect how the seed is generated, but do provide like changes to the ROM that do not affect anything. So you actually see a few of them on display in this seed. Kyuketsuki is rocking our amusing names changes, as well as the modern battlefield, which changes the battlefield to resemble Final Fantasies 2 and 3. DDG, on the other hand, has the palette scramble flags on. So, you know, this is something for you. There are a few other flags. If you check out the randomizer, which you absolutely should, you'll see what the other options are on. And if anything confuses you, you should join the Discord and ask! And that is your subliminal messaging for the day. Alright. So, DDG has made it to, I think he got down to the, I think they're still checking chests on the floater chest floor, so... Yeah, these rates with Fog 2 are not a happy place. Like, it doesn't help them if you're fading them, but you want to fade. And oh look, there's Cremate again. And Blip 3! Oh god! Oh god! That's horrible! That is actually horrible! So, you have these wraiths that make it hard to kill, and then after buffing themselves, they lit 3! That's evil! What kind of a monster rolled this seed? My co-commentator, I think that was you. What kind of a handsome, incredibly, intriguing and mysterious man could roll this seed? What irresistible fox whose hair is slowly silvering could have done this? Anyway, so, oh, there's a power bonk. So, the Power Gauntlet, for those of you who are unaware, is an item that casts Saber on whoever has it in possession. Saber is basically the spell that makes it so that even if you have a stick, you can eventually hit something hard enough with that stick to make it work. And for those of you who are familiar with the vanilla game, yes, Saber actually works now. Our dev team fixed it. Praise the dev team. I did the praise the sun gesture there, but then realized y'all can't see that, so imagine praising the sun. The dev team, they're the sun here. It's... Right, so Q. Going ahead and checking the Frost Wolf chests. Now, know that Frost Wolves have a nasty, but he's gonna have to check this anyway. He knows there are loose items in it. And Ice Cave today actually having vanilla ice equipment. So, that's a thing. That is definitely a thing. I guess it's French vanilla, technically. Yeah. Yeah. So, the thing about... Oh, and look at that! You had to check that chest. There is a tiny fairy trapped in a bottle in that box. So, anyway. Yeah, we know where Gaia is, so that's gonna be a nice thing to check on their way. Probably to ordeals if the floater doesn't come out of this eye chest. So, I believe the under-the-hood reason for Temper and Saber not working, if I had to take a guess, based on everything I know about the great and powerful Nasir, is he probably forgot to put something in that the game recognizes what makes them... Like, half of the things that don't work in this game boil down to, oh yeah, there was supposed to be something in the code that referenced this particular line, but it didn't. Nasir ever. But yeah, no. Final Fantasy I was basically written on a wing and a prayer by a mad genius. Like, we give Nasir a lot of crap, but the man did phenomenal work when basically told, hey, so, you're gonna basically be doing this by yourself, and you need to do these things that have never been seen before. Example B would, of course, be Engine of Secret of Mana. So, that being said, you can sometimes see the scorch marks in what he had to do. So, both runners picking up that bottle. And actually, I guess, unless the fairy has a ribbon, that's gonna give Q his 12th item. Oh no, wait, yeah, he hasn't checked Marsh yet, so yeah, he's still gonna need to go do... And actually, I guess that'll give DDG his 12th item too, so... But look, it's the vanilla flute. But they've got to exit, so who cares? They're out of here. Yeah, I was actually kind of double-checking who had what, so I didn't see what the eye had. So... yeah, we are about to be airborne, ladies and gents, at about the hour mark. I think that's fair for this seed. I think we've sailed enough of the high seas. So... Ah, Blaze. Yeah, no. No, you just leave. You're done. Unless you just like looking at your fighter being the only survivor. Now, this is going to be interesting, though, because DDG has that tail, so he'll be able to class change pretty much right away. Q's going to have to make that decision to dive Marsh, which, if he doesn't go to Marsh, he's never going to see that tail. He has the Power Bonk and the Sun Sword, though, so he is not at a horrible disadvantage, as far as that goes. He is, however, going to need to kind of figure some stuff out at this point. But regardless, he is getting to his airship. Yeah, like, I think if they're going to... If Q finds the tail, just kind of addressing Falfon down in chat, if he finds the tail, it's going to be because he decided to check Marsh before digging for loose items. If he manages to find that other loose item, there's a pretty good chance he's never going to look at Marsh. He's already dug out 2 of the 3 incentive locations. He knows... He's got a translated slab. Pretty much he knows where all of the remaining key items are going to be. If not directly, then via fetch quest. And there's a key, so that's going to be quite a few more item checks to make. So... Also, shoutouts to the folks in chat who are explaining, like, all of the intricacies of some of these spells, like how Fog 2 works. So, anyway. Yeah, that is one thing that, if you haven't really interacted with the Final Fantasy Randomizer community, you are hard-pressed to find someone who isn't fairly active, who doesn't have at least a reasonable command of a lot of the game's internal mechanics. Like, it's really weird how complex this game is, but also how fun it is, like, to get really into the weeds with. So, you know, that's another good reason to hang out with DDG, going ahead and fighting Isom, in spite of it brutally murdering his party. I guess, well, he has that ice armor, so Blaze isn't as much of a threat. There's a second Pro Cape, that's nice. Pro Cape is basically one of the only shields that mages can equip. In fact, I think everyone but the Black Belt can equip it, so, you know, it's not something that you're gonna, you know, go out of your way for, but if you can get it, you take it. Yeah, no, DDG is living on the edge right now. But he is, okay, he's getting out of there, so... And there's everyone's favorite bearded gentleman, the Haraj. Oh! Q never... Oh no, Q has seen these... So... this is gonna be fun. I assume he's just going to run like mad, because he knows what they can do, but he's also got more MDef now, so he should be fine to... Unless they just get the jump on him. I can't even, y'all. Oh, they have crack! And, yeah, Thalfon, I think that may have been his thinking is, get enough levels on the White Mage to get those life charges to make his life easier moving forward. But yeah, no! No, those gargoyles mean business, and I think they're all bottom of, so we're gonna see them a few more times. But DDG is just going to obliterate them. He's gonna keep that money. It's extra 3,000 gold. That'll pretty much let you stock back up on the essentials. Alright. So, we're going from here. Oh, DDG... Oh, Q never checked these, so... I assume that DDG is going to do the same thing. Go ahead and talk to the ferry, check all these key lock locations. He may do Cardia first, because it's relatively close, and... God, tail, and that's a lot of checks too, but there's an opal bracelet there in Canaria. So... Q not needing to worry anymore about for his mages. He's got gold rings and gold bracelets and Pro Cape for his white and black mage, and he's got the opal bracelet for that red mage. And on that note, once again, thank you to Super Luigi for doing this tracking for the first hour or so of this race. He is unfortunately going to need to step out, but I believe we are going to have community favorite Trenton stepping in to help finish out tracking this race. So, you know, give him, you know, again, shoutouts to Super Luigi there, and let's go ahead and get that. You know, make sure to give him a follow for, in gratitude for all he's doing. And while you're at it, give those runners a follow. So, while we're kind of waiting for folks to go find stuff, I believe we do for me. Don't y'all? Deep breath. Get the notes. Let's do this. So after we killed Garland, we found the ruby and the crown. It's basically handed over the Royal Canarian. The crown led us to Astos. The ship took us over to the Provoca area, which turned out to be Crescent Lake. Crescent Lake had the sages who were wandering around after indulging a little. We took the herb down to the Elf Prince, who gave us the TNT. The TNT provided us the slab from Derek, which hasn't led to anything yet. Might. Biggie the Pirate was located at the Melman location, which turned out to be Provoca. Beat him up and took his canoe. The loot was at Sarda, which we got to via the route. The canoe, in turn, let us get to Ice Cave, which let us find both the Bottle-Loose and the floater. The floater took us to the airship. The airship has yet to take us anywhere in particular. However, the tail was located in Marsh Cave, which is allowing class change for DG, the only of our two runners to have dug Marsh Cave thus far. The key is on the ferry and hasn't really led to anything to it as of yet, because I don't believe back to Marsh, keep digging around and find the other loose item there in the key-locked chests, which we very well might. There's a ribbon known to be in Volcano, the power bunk was in the ice cave, and as of yet we have yet to find LaFane and find out what is at the Lupa Lupa man in the toga. Also, I think we found the crystal somewhere while I was talking. So, there's a cube, everyone. Get well to sign it. Ah, crystal was at the Oasis, thank you. I was looking down. So, thank you, chat, for being my second set of eyes. But there's your hourly recap from... Now then. It looks like Q is going to head for ordeals, while G is going to get that class change has the ability to do. It can be convenient for him, because I believe he's found some Opal equipment for that night. Soon-to-be night. Alright. So yeah. No one's gonna get Q bonked today, no one's gonna get key blocked today. We are pretty much at this point looking for Rod, the Chime, and the Oxyale. So... let's see. Leave... one of them could still be on the blacksmith. One of them can be on the robot. And one of them's gonna be here. So what did that leave? Okay. Right. So I think we do actually have a loose ribbon this time. I'm not crazy. Because the adamant can't lock itself. Actually, no, wait, that's right. Ribbon could be on one of the and then the other key item is loose, but one of these three locations has to have the adamant, and then one of them could have ribbon, but it's all good. And it looks like Will Cleosis is actually taking over. So that's awesome. Alright, DDG is going to go ahead and pick up that... I believe at this point both runners have sufficient number of key items to be getting that XP boost, which I'm sure neither one of them's upset about. We're a little upset they don't have warp for this Ordeals play, but what are you gonna do? Can't always be available where you can cast. But, yeah, so Will Cleosis. Definitely a hero on this one. He is the one who taught me how to track everyone, so this is a man-full veteran track. And yeah, thanks again to Super Luigi for doing the tracking to this point, providing the critical notes for that recap. So, right now Q is doing some digging. And we're gonna see where it leads to. Also, I hope all of you are enjoying the Ode to a Ruined Castle, which I believe is... wow, that's a lot of mummies and whiz mummies. So this formation is... so that'll be good. Alright. So this will be good for Q. This will let him catch up to the X that DG picked up by doing that little bit of an eye grind, except it'll be his party and was a little less risky. So... let's see here. Alright, Q is through the Pillar Maze, which, for those of you who are wondering why didn't he just go down a bunch, it's because we randomized it. Why wouldn't we have randomized it? Do you not know who we are? We randomize things around here. I mean, aside things like the floater location, because you can't randomize everything. But yeah, Q taking these fights and ordeals, I like this move. Ordeals has a lot of fights that have a pretty good yield on XP versus expected difficulty. So, you know, I think he's about the point where it stops being particularly valuable, but it's still nice to find, as well as that Mosmu. Okay, Q is in a much better position to not class change if he never finds that tail. He's got a Mazza for his knight, he's got a Sunsword for his fighter, he's got a Sunsword for his red mage. So he's good on weapons. He's getting stoned by those Medusas! Oh no! I don't know if he has any softs. Okay, he's got 12 softs, he's fine, but... Stone Touch Medusas, that's fun. Oh, and I didn't see Nuke was in on-rack, so... DDG going ahead and getting that stock, that's nice. Ah, and, getting told in chat that the life spell's also in a good spot. And there's the adamant I called. Alright, so at this point, there are two locations left to be checked. Well, three. We have the chime location in Lefay. We have the blacksmith. And we have the... Hold on, I'm missing something. Okay. So, we need the chime, we need the oxyel, we need the rod, and there's a ribbon still in the... potentially. So, if the runners are lucky, these last three NPCs will have the thing. If they get a ribbon from any of them, we have a loose item, they have to figure out where it is. So, Lefane is Lefane, DDG making the intelligent play and making sure that he speaks Lefanish. So this will not be an issue for him. Alright, so there's the rod. Earth Cave is now open. We found one of the loose items. The fairy bottle was in the ice cave, and the fairy had the key. So, I believe this also means that Onrak is... Elfland! Yeah, Onrak has to be Elfland at this point. We've seen everything else. So, there we go. And Gaia was Onrak. I knew we'd seen Onrak, I just couldn't remember what it was. Alright. So, now that that's taken care of. And yeah, DDG in a pretty good armor position as well. He doesn't have that open bracelet because he hasn't dug out Ordeals yet. Ordeals? No, it was Canaria. He hasn't dug out Canaria, and he might not dig out Canaria if he finds that other loose item, if we want. In any case, Q, it looks like he's going to go ahead and make that trip up to Elfland and the... So... I don't believe Q's turned in the adamant yet. So, we haven't found out what's there yet. He's going to go ahead and get Waterfall, I think, because at some point he's going to need to find out if he's an item. And that's level 3 Temper and Fast, so... it's a good thing that they have that power. I will point that out. Just because that's going to make it so that you can spend those charges on Fast instead of Tempers. Let's see, we got Harm 4 White Mage. With Marsh still on the table, or not Marsh, well, with Earth still on the table, I think that it's a good idea to at least take down your White Mage. There wasn't much else at level anyway, and it'll potentially make it easier to survive. But yeah, I don't like it when Fast and Temper are on the same level, just because it means you have to rob Peter to pay Paul, but oh wow, cheap pro rings. So, that's gonna be good for this part. Pro Ring's an item, like the ribbon, anyone can equip. So, that's going to be really helpful in terms of getting this group geared up for the end game. It's also going to provide some Death Elemental resistance, which will probably make Q feel a lot better about about going to Earth Cave, because he knows that Toxic is no longer going to be yeah, so... We have not seen, for sure, a second loose item yet. It could have been that ribbon we found in Volcano, but until we talk to the last 3 NPCs on the table, we don't know. So, soft at level 4 white magic, I like to pick that up because softs are generally not cheap, and can be annoying. And hey, look, there's Warp now that Q doesn't need it. Isn't that funny? Actually, he might still pick it up because he does still have Sky Castle, and... if he's still looking for a second loose item at that point, that's going to make a lot of those checks a little bit quicker. So if you don't mind real quick, I'm going to my mic and take a quick drink of water, because I've been talking for an hour and 12 minutes straight, and I'm starting to get a little bit thirsty. So, 1 second, y'all, I'll be right back. Enjoy the cave music. Alright, I have appeased Hydration Bot. Let's get into Waterfall Cave. And it looks like both runners have opted to make the play at the same time. Again, not a bad plan. We know DDG is still to potentially wait, potentially. We know DGP may potentially still, since Adamant can lead to one of those key items. But this is a much quicker play. You're in and out, nobody gets hurt. Well, except the mud golems and others. So, and yeah, I do have to agree. The borders on the tracker are probably one of my favorite parts about the Final Fantasy Randomizer, is just that aesthetic. It's a little bit more work for the tracker, but it's work. And I sometimes have to suffer through the tracker, so I can say that. Okay, so this formation was runnable here in Waterfall Cave. Also, I just realized I'm holding down my push-to-talk button. It's a Saturday, y'all. Which I hope everyone's having a good Saturday here in Fantasy Randomizer Land. Because it's always a good Saturday here in Final Fantasy Randomizer Land. And it's not an over Saturday after this race either. I'll put up the schedule here in a little while and let y'all know more, unless our beloved tracker Will Cleosis would like to quickly drop in what races are left on the docket for today into chat. That would be great. But you don't have to, Will. You have a lot on your plate. But there is our Oxyel in Waterfall, so let's see here. So we now have. Oh, excuse me, I didn't get to the enough on that one. Sorry, I apologize. Anyway, we have Sea Shrine and Earth Cave on the agenda now. We still need that chime. So what I suspect we're going to see is Q's going to go ahead and make that turn in to the blacksmith. Don't believe he's been to Lefane yet, so he doesn't know that the rod is at Lupa Lupa. So he's going to go check Narek, see what there is to see. If he gets a ribbon, then we know that they need a loose item. And yeah, so actually, I'm gonna go refill my water real quick because the infectious one, Will Cleosis, has offered to do a quick word for our sponsors and let you know what else is on the schedule for today. So, Will, if you wouldn't mind taking it away, I will be right back.
If I could get this waterfall background to switch for both players, that would certainly be much better. Hey fans, how you doing? Speed Gaming 3, thank you for having us. It's Final Fantasy Randomizer. It'll be just one moment while I try to get this unstuck. DD Gaming's making his way towards the Castle of Ordeal. Kyuketsuki turns in his adamant. That's where the adamant is. It's in Castle Ordeal. Kyuketsuki picks up his chime. I do believe that could be Go mode other than the rod, which DD Gaming's has. And that came from Lefane after the slab translation, which Kyuketsuki has. So he's in a quasi-no mode at this point in time. Our apologies, our tracker has actually just gone down at this point. Great action today here on Final Fantasy Randomizer. We had 7 matches. It started with the Midnight Special 4 matchup at 3-1s. It was Zardia, the leader of Final Fantasy Randomizer. Took on the Buzzsaw Minochi 85. Earlier this afternoon, another 3-1 battle. Wab took on Wukleosis. We had some of the future of FFR, and Caleb took on Rumblefish a little bit earlier. Now we're on to Q and DD Gaming. It's coming up 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Speed Gaming 2. It's starting in just a moment. It's Elastoid taking on Lord of the Synth. That's going to be brought to you by Trenton and TGE, the Greenleaf Experience. Later on, Falconic the Enforcer. The Dragon Tristal MTG, a battle of 3-1s. Going to be huge, 9 p.m. Eastern. Also on Speed Gaming 2. That's going to be brought to you by Speed Gaming's own Cyclone. And the Panther, Shadowwalker 227. Coming up tomorrow, a high noon showdown. The Panther, Shadowwalker 227 against the undefeated Lone Wolf. One fine day. It's going to be right here on the Speed Gaming family of networks.
Thank you so much, Will. And I am back. So, did we have a conversation with the blacksmith? And what did we get from? Oh, never mind. I see the chime in Q's inventory. So, this means that both runners, basically as soon as Q goes and turns this slab translation, is technically going to be in go mode. He has everything he needs to finish the game. which means he's probably not going to get that tail. He doesn't need it. He's got plenty of gear to do that in-game run. He probably would like another ribbon, but he doesn't need a ribbon. None of us need ribbons are just kind of a thing that's nice to have. And it's important in life to know what is a luxury... Oh. Thank you, Will! I had turned my headset mic up to put my headset down, and then forgot to swing the arm back down. So, sorry about that, everyone. I was trying to be nice and quiet and mellow after, you know, bringing in Final Fantasy Randomizer's own hype man to hype things, and then I forgot to swing the arm back down. I am the best at what I do for a reason, ladies and gentlemen, and that reason is because I'm live. Anyway, so DDG just picked up his Mazda, and we'll try to get those tracker issues sorted out, but in the meantime, you know, that's what memory's for, that's what forgetting where things are is for. But we do now know we need we need absolutely nothing. We have everything we need to finish the game except levels and maybe gear? Although at this point, DDG and Q are pretty much rolling with roughly the same gear. I think DDG's got an opal armor that Q doesn't, and can also put on a black shirt that Q can't. But aside from that, they're pretty much even on gear. So unless, like, the dragon armor turns up somewhere or something similar, class changing really only has given DDG a few extra spells to work with. So, keep things pretty interesting on that front. In the meantime, though, it looks like we are looking at a Mirage Skyplay out of Q. I don't dislike this. He's right here, he's got everything he needs, so might as well go ahead and dig this out and light that second orb. That is one thing that DDG's going to be dealing with. He still needs to go back and light that fire orb. He got down to Carrie's floor and then opted to leave, having only 2 party members up, and didn't go back to Volcano. So, you know, that's only a couple of minutes at worst, but it is still time that he's going to have to spend that Q won't. As far as the rest of this, we're probably not going to see mermaids from either runner. They both should know now they don't need the other loose item, and could theoretically have already picked it up. We know that they're not going to need the, whatchamacallit. We know where they're not going to need to really dig out much here in Mirage Sky. So, yeah, no, this is going to be... We're probably going to be in Temple of Fiends here in the next 15 or so minutes, I'd say. Maybe a little bit shorter than that? Not really sure. Well, probably not shorter than that, because Sky's going to take a little bit. C can take a little bit just because of those definite unrunnable encounters in the Wiz Sahag, Red Sahag fight. And, well, Earth has a couple of minor speed bumps along the way. I don't know why you'd install those. I mean, I get that you don't want people driving too fast when you got kids in the area, but all of your kids are undead. You can just sew them back together. It's fine. You don't need speed bumps. This is not what I'm paying my, you know, homeowners association fees for, but you know what, whatever. We're just going to get upset about that, and this is a happiness. Anyway, so Q is going to be taking some fights here in Sky, probably. I can't speak for most runners, but I know that I find level 20, 21 to be a point in these flags where I feel comfortable attacking Topher, and Sky is usually where I get to level 21. So, we're probably going to see Q take enough fights to hit that 21 point. He's not going to take enough fights to get level 24, which with that Maz in hand is tempting, unless it turns out that Temple of Fiends Revisited is a nightmare. And we have folks in chat claiming that speed bumps are the city, not the homeowners association. And you know what? I'm not going to engage with that. We're going to see what Q's up to. He's checking chess still. don't know if he's looking for another ribbon? Or what? If he checks the chest on Spider Floor, I'm going to get concerned. But... yeah, I know, I do agree. He does, you know, might as well check chests while he's leveling. But that check is not one I normally make if I'm just kind of picking up fights. That's a chest you only check if you're looking for something. Well, we'll see what happens here in a minute. So... fingers crossed that Q knows he's in go mode. And if he's not in go mode, someone in chat better say something, because I'm sounding like an idiot right now if he's not in go mode. Y'all. But yeah, so... yeah, we'll have to ask him if we can't figure out what he's looking for. But in the meantime... and again, you're right, he may just be looking for, experience. But that is a defense sword, and unless DDG is one of those weirdos who checks the left side of this... he's not going to get that defense sword. He is, however, going to get the opal bracelet, so... that's one advantage that Q's about to lose, but... they're still in pretty good shape. So... I guess the other question on my mind is what DDG's looking for, because he's kind of in the same boat. He should have everything he needs for go mode. Oh no, never mind, he hasn't checked the dwarf yet. Okay, my bad. Alright, so he's about to be in go mode. He's going to turn in this chime, and... or he's going to turn in this adamant. The adamant's going to be turned into a chime, and we'll be good to go. So, we'll see if DDG does much digging. Yes, weirdo. Weirdos check the left side. Alright, an attempted quack on these rock golems, and they are fairly sturdy today. But a second fade should do the trick and take them out. That's going to be some good eating for Q. Yeah, that's good eating. So, alright. Alright, so yeah, he was just doing a little bit of extra chest checking while picking up some experience. So... if you're still looking for something, he'd be digging out this floor right now, because I believe he did pick up warp when he saw it. But he's going to go ahead and check these chests as well, which, again, not a bad play. It's a high-density check, doing the chests on this floor, and the fights here aren't too terribly bad. Alright, and yeah, Will Cleosis is confirming for me that Q is in go mode, and as he is the Dragon Slayer, I am willing to believe him. Alright. So, Q is stuck in this unrunnable fight, though, but he should be out of here in a second. Meanwhile, DDG is going to go ahead and get his revenge here on the, volcano. And there's an X-Scal that Q can't use, and he realizes it after a second. He's picking up the dragon armor, so... I guess he figures he'd rather have that than the X-Cal if he does find the tail, which he's not, because he ain't going into Marsh Cave. Are you crazy? But yeah, so... yeah. Where was I? So DDG's going to make very quick work of this volcano. He's literally checked everything that's not the red dragon chest, and he should know he doesn't need to check it. Some flame armor. Q may swap that out for his ice armor. He's got an ice shield. Flame armor is just as good. Yeah, he's doing exactly that. He's going to go ahead and get a little, at least second layer of elemental defense on that fighter. Go ahead and give him both ice and flame immunity. Or resistance, rather. There's a Zeus Gauntlet. That's also something you're gonna want. So, ditching his ice armor, grabbing the Zeus Gauntlet, putting that on his white mage. So, looks like Q's plan is, if he bumps into that ice armor, if he bumps into the tail, he's got armor to throw on his knight that's gonna provide plenty of defense. And if he doesn't find the tail, well, he's got everything he really can use without it anyway, so it's all good. In any case, though, I believe we are about to hit the teleporter floor, so... Folks, you know what to do. And if you don't want to know what to do, then just follow everyone else's lead. I mean, this is a meme anyway. You just do what everyone else is doing with memes. But either way, DDG looks like he has lit his fire orb. So our runners are now tied, 1 orb and 1 orb, and those are both fire orbs. So, looks like we're going to see an Earth dive next. And I think even with these levels, these gargoyles here on Earth 2 can still pose a threat, as can these Medusae. Medusae? Is that how you pluralize Medusa? I'm gonna go with Medusae. I like it. Medusae? Maybe Medusae. We're gonna go with Medusae. Yeah. Alright. So, Q's gonna stop for a plate of nachos. Not a bad idea. Go ahead and get some damage put on them. And, you know, it's a fight that you want to take, gets you some good eating. Less than 300 HP. Alright, so this should go down, yeah. And DDG looks like he is through the 2nd floor. He may be past the gargoyle problem line, although I believe we still have wraiths to worry about, as well as ghouls and zombies on these lower floors. Also, chat letting me know that, well, not letting me know, I believe chat is trying to figure out what to call a group of Medusae, and I like a Strangle of Medusae that Thalfon's throwing out there, so we're gonna go with a Strangle of Medusae. I like it. We're doing it. Anyway, here's Tiamat. This should not take very long. We've got level 2 Brack, and Amaza, and Fast, and Temper, and either the fighter's going to slash her to death, or she is getting brackened. So, one of these two things is about to happen. And it looks like Q is not even going to bother with Brack strats. He is going straight for the killing Tiamat in one swing strat, which he does. Alright. So that is Q's 2nd orb. That's going to be the air orb. If I had to take a guess, he's going to go ahead and do C next, because Onrak's literally right here. Then after that, he's going to go ahead and clear out Earth like DDG is doing at the moment. So, again, I think Q still has a little bit of a lead in spite of not being class changed. I had to take a guess. He's probably going to get into tow for about 3, maybe 4 minutes ahead of DDG. His equipment situation is going to be about equal with DDG's. Because that dragon armor was not in a very convenient location, so DD could very easily miss that. He's almost certainly going to miss the X-Scout. So that class change is not really going to help him on the equipment front. Q's going to need not much else, actually. Again, I'm sure he would love to see a 2nd ribbon, but it just doesn't seem to be in the cards. I know we saw a wall somewhere, though, so if he hasn't picked that up, he might go back and grab it on whoever cast it. Also, I'm liking Afraid of Ghosts in other news. I'm so taking that one. That's beautiful. So yeah, that's a thing that's happening. And yes, that Frayed is spelled exactly like you think it's spelled. This is a pun game, folks. This is a pun game. But DD is going to make his way down to Lich. Just has to get past these Grimps real quick. Which did give a little bit of trouble early on in the seed, but at this point we are level 20 and fear nothing. That's a lie. We fear a lot of things. Like, this Kraken can still just ruin everyone's day. Not even to speak of Carry 2, Kraken 2, Tia 2, Lich 2, who just happens to pull a turn 1 nuke out. And it looks like that is a problem that we're going to have, so try not to to do the thing that I know people are thinking about doing. Just don't. It's not nice. It's just... We're better than that, folks. We're better than that. I believe you're better than that. Anyway, DDG has lit his Earth Orb after killing Lich 1, which... I mean, it's Lich 1. Honestly, we probably should just add a flag that just kills him and Vampire automatically. You just kind of do the Earthbound screen flashes, you get a text box that says, "You won!" And then you just go light the orb. Alright. Anyway, Q is now to the greed chests in the Sharknado floor. I think he thought about picking up that Ice Sword for a minute before remembering he already has 2 of the best swords that he can have already equipped. And the Ice Sword's not going to add much. But DDG is hot on his heels. Now, the big difference here is Q just has to go run through Earth Cave real quick, which, as you already saw, isn't going to take very long. DDG has to get through Sky, which, while it's also not going to take him very long, is going to take a little bit longer just from a sheer number of steps perspective. And also, Sky has the Bridge of Destiny, which is the highest encounter density in the game. So, it's definitely a situation where DDG is technically behind. But like I said, if he's getting into tow for more than 3 or 4 minutes behind Q, I will be surprised. And we do have Nochibado down in chat pointing out that, and I do have to agree, the way that spell prices are rendered, when you have a 5-digit spell price, it just runs together with the indicator of what level spell it is, which makes it look like you're looking at a 6-digit spell price, and that's just the thing, y'all. That's just a thing. So, that being said, Q is still making his way to Kraken. I believe he is in that final stretch before you get to Big, Ugly, and Betentacled. And DDG is about to hit the greed chest floor, so DDG probably gonna pull up to Kraken maybe 2 minutes behind Q. Okay, now he still has to run through here. Yeah, so I'd say DDG at this point is maybe 2 minutes behind Q, getting to Kraken. And then he's gonna lose a little bit of time on Q going through Sky, so we're gonna guess 4 minutes. I'm gonna say probably 4 minutes between these two runners getting into ordeals, and we'll see from there. Yeah, I do love this color scheme on Sea Shrine. That is another feature, so that is one thing I haven't talked about with these flags, and we'll get to that after Q deals with Kraken real quick. Because this could be entertaining. We're gonna see. Because it's Kraken, y'all. Kraken can kill you at any time, in any form. So let's see here. Throwing out that Brack, just assuming that that Black Mage is going to die. And a couple of fades go out. Kraken's still standing. The Brack is ineffective. The Red Mage is held. That is a problem. And Q realized that he's going to go ahead and get that fast onto that Knight just in case. Fade goes out. Still standing Kraken. Q takes another swing. Kraken's still standing. This must be a max health Kraken. That's the only explanation I can have, because that should have killed an average health Kraken. White Mage is asleep. Makes another swing. Kraken goes down. Alright. So it didn't look like that Kraken was very dangerous, just beefy. But that is Q's third orb, and DDG shouldn't have too much trouble clearing that Kraken out either. So, as I was saying, as I'm sure that you've noticed, the towns are shuffled in this particular set of flags. And that just means that town locations can take you to different towns than they would in vanilla. They can take you to the vanilla town, but most of the towns are going to be different. And that is a subset of our, entrance randomizer. Now, the entrance randomizer, the dev team had the foresight to make it so that different entrances have different color schemes based on the vanilla location that entrance is. So with Town Shuffle, you really only see it in Sea Shrine, because Sea Shrine retains that same color scheme change, because on-rack isn't necessarily going to be an on-rack. And I think actually, even if it's an on-rack, it takes on the on-rack assigned color scheme rather than its vanilla color scheme. So it has made for some very pretty Sea Shrines. Anyway, DDG is continuing to cut down Kraken and just finished that up. Doesn't seem to have had the difficulties that Q did, probably owing to the just having better armor at his disposal. But anyway, so both runners have 3 orbs lit. DDG is on his way to Mirage Tower, Q is starting his trip down to Earth Cave, so this is going to be interesting from here. So yeah, he should be fine after he clears out this floor. Operative word there, should be. However, at this point, like, I think the Black Mage is the only one who's in any real danger just because of health. Yeah. But he's got life, it'll be fine. Just dust the Black Mage off, pick him up after the fight, you're fine. Oh right, Crack! I forgot about Crack on those things! Oh... Is it a commentator's curse if we already saw that and the commentator's just dumb? I think it's still... I don't think it counts. Anyway, DDG actually checking some chests. I mean, these are quick checks, so this isn't bad. I just have to wonder what he's looking for at this point. Well, we'll find out. If he finds what he's looking for, we'll figure it out, but that might be something to ask about later on. I mean, I guess a second ribbon may be on his radar, because he doesn't have dragon armor, so that is still something he absolutely might want. But we'll see. Meantime, Q is continuing his trip down through Earth Cave, having to deal with these images, which, if memory serves, are the least nasty of the ghost sprites. So, he's fine, going to go ahead and check a couple of easy chests on his way. Yeah. Now, I can't blame him for looking for the ribbon, but... I mean, we also have the advantage, but I also want to be right about when he gets to Topher relative to Q, so he needs to put the pedal to the metal, because I like being right. Oh look, Geists! Everyone loves Geists, right? Nobody likes Geists. The undead in this game are the worst. Like, that is one thing, just off the cuff real quick, while Q gets through speed bump number 1, that I really like about Final Fantasy in general is, the enemies are scary. Like, there are very few enemies in this game that you can take for granted. And yes, I realize the irony of saying that immediately after making fun of the vampire. But I stand by that. And I didn't say all enemies. And yeah, DD's looking for something. It's gotta be the ribbon. It could also be dragon armor. Like, he's gonna find that dragon armor at this rate. And that may be good enough in his book. Because he's got the Aegis, he can slap a pro ring on the knight. So... you can just kind of take it from there. But yeah, this is only going to help DDG if Topher turns out to be a little more deadly than Q's ready for. But, you know, this is definitely giving Q a little more of a cushion for digging through. But yeah, so it's one of those things, like I was saying, though, like this game is really good about making the enemies scary. Now, I'm trying to figure out, Trinitronity, if you're talking about the FF7 remake that just got announced and randomizing that, or the FF7 game in about 18 quotation marks that was released on the NES. Because I'm kind of curious now what that would look like randomized. I don't think anyone would ever care enough to randomize it, but now you do have me curious, yes. Also, Lich is dead. You know, just as a heads up, Lich is dead. Long live Lich. And Kyu is out of Earth Cave, so at this point, he just needs to stock up on heal potions if it suits his fancy, and go dive Temple of Fiends Revisited. Alright, so, what are you folks thinking? Are we going to see a paper Topher? Or a, death comes to us all Topher? Because I think either one is entirely possible. And also for those of you watching this on YouTube later, Trentrani did confirm they were talking about the NES Final Fantasy VII. So, you know what? If anyone out there likes hacking NES games and wants to get their feet wet, I'm sure you can find people who will happily join you in that very, very ridiculous idea. Probably not me, but somebody. But, that being said, Q is now in the 2,000 years in the past, on his way to fighting, what I like Will Cleos' name for. The Fiend of Fiends, Chaos. And it looks like DDG is going to miss out on that dragon armor. That is a little bit unfortunate for him, because that would make his survivability that little bit stronger. And yeah, for those of you who are unaware, there is a bootleg Final Fantasy VII game. I think it's built off of either Final Fantasy II or Final Fantasy III's engine. Anyway, Phantom, not wanting to let the runners just run past today, takes out Q's Black Mage in the process, and it looks like Q's plan is just to leave that Black Mage down until he needs him, which, not a bad plan. It looks like Zombie Ds were the ones who had Stinger, so... yeah. DDG, meanwhile, on the Bridge of Destiny. I see some folks who got their Bless RNGs in chat. It does look like he is in a different part of the encounter table, potentially from... well, he has to be. He didn't check as much as... well... no, he took a different number of steps, so... he's in a different part of the RNG table, and it looks like he's probably not drawing that War Mech fight. So, sorry to disappoint everyone, we will not be seeing the friendly neighborhood robot today. But that's okay, because if we're lucky, he had all the weak crap. And it's going to be the Fiend refights that have all of the fun stuff. Now, by way of explanation of what I mean by that. The Fiend refights in Final Fantasy Randomizer are shuffled together, as in their abilities, their scripts, all that good stuff. And and Warmech is included in that group. So, you can wind up seeing nuclears on any of the Fiends, or Chaos, and Warmech gets some of their stuff as well. So you can sometimes ferret out what certain enemies have, or what you can expect in Topher if you manage to find a Warmech on the Bridge of Destiny. Now, on the flip side, that means that Warmech can be packing, you know, nukes, he can be packing Swirl, or Tornado, or Cure 4. So, it's kind of a mixed bag. But, if you happen to find it, hey, if you can survive that fight, you can get some good intel in advance. But speaking of intel, here comes Lich 2, who, in this tournament, actually has earned a lot of respect by virtue of continuously having things that just murder people in one shot. Not that I'm bitter. But today it looks like he's just a Poison Touch undead who is about to die. Like I said, who's about to die. Also, it looks like DDG is going to probably get into Topher with about 5 minutes after Q, because I think Q got in about 1 hour, 43 minutes, 30 seconds, and it looks like DDG is going to just about hit that. Might be a little bit longer than that, just because he's got to restock, but regardless, yeah, so a wipe here will still give DDG a chance. And a wipe is certainly possible. Actually, no, he's not stopping to restock, so yeah, this is 4 to 5 minutes. Alright, go team me. Oh, but while I was patting myself on the back, Harry has myrtleated the party, holy crap. Like, Q still has plenty of life charges, and fortunately, Carrie was weak enough to finish the job on, but that's still not a pleasant feeling. Those heal potions are going to come into play here. So, that is something that might work in DDG's favor, because he's got slightly better armor on that knight, thanks to having that Aegis shield, and I think he might also have, like, an opal helmet or something? No, he has the opal armor, so DDG may not have that same problem on Carrie. But we'll see. Oh, look, the seafood party pack is unrunnable today. But we've got plenty of damage. Falfon, those are the validation chests, and we will applaud DDG for validating his run and also trying to see if he can find another ribbon, which is, I'm sure, why he was looking in those chests. So far, it looks like elemental attacks aren't the problem here. It's damage just straight up from enemies. Which does technically favor DDG, like I said, because he's actually got slightly better armor on a couple of party members. And again, my apologies, excuse me. Right. So, where were we? So Q's making his way through water floor. DDG is dealing with some very sickly mud golems. And let's see here. Where are we going? Well, down, obviously. Yeah, this is kind of the part where it's a little bit harder to talk about the action as much, because the action is running away from everything because, oh god, oh god, oh god, everything hits like a truck, and I need to conserve my resources. I have 2 lives yet left if I'm Q. DDG actually may be in a slightly better position. Was life in a... Yeah, life was in a red mage learnable slot, so never mind. And yeah, Zara, I'm afraid to say there was no war mech today. But don't worry, I'm sure that we'll find all of the nuclears very soon. So it'll be just like we found war mech. Except on things that we really did not want to be war mech. Yeah. So we're on Kraken, Q taking his time, making sure he is set up for this fight. Walls the fighter, fast the fighter, Kraken nukes everything, oh god! I think he did get that fast off in time, so he is going to just start swinging and hoping that Kraken doesn't punch the white mage or he is in trouble. And the commentator curse comes out. And just like that, DDG is in the lead. But that is a nuke first, ask questions later Kraken, and I don't know if either of these runners has the levels for that. Q? No. Okay, Q is going to take some fights here on the first floor. And that is the move you should make. He knows that nuke is probably going to come out before he can kill that Kraken. And the only way to defend against nuke is to have levels. Because, and this goes back to something we were discussing earlier, Ribbon will protect you from a lot of things. It will not protect you from getting punched in the face, and it will not protect you from nuke. Because nuke is a non-elemental spell. That means the only way to reduce the damage from nuke is to have enough M defense to where your character saves against the spell damage and reduces it by half. So, guess what we're gonna do if we're Q? We're gonna pick up some levels so that we have A, more HP to weather the nuke if we don't save, and B, more MDef to improve our chances of actually saving against the nuke. Now, DDG could get lucky. It could turn out that Kraken doesn't like to nuke first and ask questions later, and Q just got hilariously unlucky. for everyone's sake, I'm hoping that's not the case, and we get a nice even race as both runners manage to wind up on the making their second attempt at the same time. But we'll see. And in situations like this, Rolak, you have to be a little bit contemplative. DDG does not have quite the equipment loadout he wants, so every action he takes counts. Because if there's something nasty hiding behind one of those enemies, you're in trouble, so you want to make sure your attacks are conserving resources while being effective. So, that's just kind of how you have to play the game like this. Anyway, let's look at DDG's screen and find out what happens with this crap. So, kind of the same story we saw before. Putting out defenses. So, that extra absorb from his knight's armor does come into play right off the bat. Kraken does not take his knight out. However, if Kraken nukes next turn, it could be an instant wipe. So, let's see what happens. Also, he could get turn order on Kraken. That is something else that can happen. But taking his time, making his decisions. I don't hate this. This is Kraken 2. Kraken 2 is notorious for being a roadblock. So Cure 2 gets him just above the danger zone for nuke. Heal 3 gets him even higher above the danger zone. Rest of his party. And, alright, so Kraken takes out the Black Mage. No nuke yet. Q could have just gotten unlucky with that nuke. But DDG really needs to swing. He doesn't know that, but he needs to. Kraken's still swinging, so... And he's down. So yeah, it looks like that nuke was just an unfortunate dice roll for Q. So... Blast Cannon Kraken is a problem that Q doesn't realize he may be able to overcome with slightly better RNG. But regardless, he is making the right play from what he saw. There's no way that he can know that Kraken isn't going to immediately nuke every time he fights him, and he can't afford to go diving Topher to find out if that's the case. That's way too deep down there, and he already had to deal with carry. Anyway, DDG is going to do the same thing. Go ahead and buff the knight. Get a heal 3 out there. He was expecting Kraken to turn order him, but oh hey, look, there's Tornado. So... Am I saying Kraken? I mean Tiamat. Whatever. They're basically the same thing. They have a bunch... They hit you a bunch of times, and they get in your way when you just want to go murder Chaos and go get some tea. Damage poison on Tiamat, that's not friendly, but his party's got enough MDef to weather the storm, and DDG has murdered Tia 2 in a rain of blows. That was like 1,000 damage plus. Or 1,100 damage plus. And it was like 1114 or 1114 or something like that. And yeah, I feel like learning Lock's not a bad idea. Lock also works. It's not the most accurate spell, but if you're up against something that has high evasion, you might as well throw out the YOLO Lock and see what happens. Anyway, we're about to fight Chaos, y'all. So we're probably going to see DDG move that ribbon over instead of having the... Well, he might not. He might keep the ribbon on the White Mage and wall up the Knight. Nope, never mind. He is going to rely on his evasion instead of his absorb. Let's see. He's already got the Maz on the Knight. Alright, yeah. He is good to go. So anyway, here's Chaos. So he's going to lead off with Fade. He really doesn't have anything else he can do with the White Mage at this point. We never really saw Invis 2 or Fog 2 anywhere convenient. And we've got the defense sword anyway, so he can still defend the Knight. So that Fade is going to go out for 148 damage, so Chaos's M defense coming into play. Chaos is the highest M defense enemy in the game, so we have that going for us. We have the Bane Sword going out. DDG gotta go ahead and try and Will Cleosis this. Just end the fight in one blow. Going ahead and continue defending that Knight. We're probably going to see a third defense roll out, unless Chaos turns out to be very gentle with the punches. And the rest of his party is just going to drop the hammer in terms of just pumping out attacks. So, yeah, Bane Sword, Fade, Defense, and Nuke. Second verse, same as the first. Well, I guess this is the third verse, technically. So, and there's another Nuke, everyone. So I think we're about to see some Cure 4 going out. Yep. Cure 4 on the Knight. Knight is going to start power bonking. Yep, there's the power bonk. And that Cure 4 is not going to go off. So DDG has to hope that this Chaos is easy to hit and doesn't have a lot of health, because otherwise he could be in trouble. He's going to go ahead and burn his Cure 2s on his Knight, try to at least get some health up for when Chaos gets that nuke around, or if he has another damage spell waiting in the wings. 6 hits, 219. That's... If this Chaos is strong, DDG could have some trouble, but he's going to keep power bonking. He's seeing a lot of lightweight spells on Chaos. Yeah, nothing but second tier damage spells. This is going to end very quickly, and there it is. DDG has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 54 seconds. 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 54 seconds. And he's immediately going to reset out. But we all saw it happen, so GG. And we're going to see if we can get DDG in here. Seeing him down there in setup. He needs a second, so we're going to give it to him. In the meantime, Q is going to keep grind. No, never mind. He is good to go. I'm assuming that he went ahead and popped out and saved. And yeah, Zardia pointing out, we did get robbed of our in-game stats, but them's the breaks. So Q in a much better position, though, to make it work this dive. He's got a party, I'm guessing probably around 24 or 25. I will be the first one to admit I was mostly focused on DDG while Q was grinding. Sorry, Q, when you watch this later. But if I had to take a guess, he probably went to get that second swing on the Knight. That gives him a decent amount of MDef and HP, so I think he's probably in a better position to get through this nuke if it happens again and finish this out on this dive. So, going ahead and just making his move. He must be satisfied with his levels. He is not. He is running from everything he sees. If he runs from the Grey Medusas, we'll know for a fact that he's satisfied with where he is and thinks that's enough to finish the seed up. Yeah, now he is good at this point. You don't run from Grey Medusas unless you are ready to just end this. That being said, kudos to Q for going ahead and finishing this out. As I noted at the beginning of this broadcast, this was an elimination match. Q is now 1-4 and will not be... in his tournament life is done. But DDG will get a chance to play in the Last Chance qualifier, coming up next week. Time, date, and channel to be determined. And that will be very interesting. That will be a race of all of our 2 and 3s to see which one of them, the first one to finish, will get to participate in the play-in race later that weekend, facing off against all the 3 and 2s to determine who gets to advance to the bracket stage with all of our 4 and 1s and 5 and 0s. And speaking of those 2 and 3s, GGDD.
Hey, thanks. Thanks a lot.
So, did you have fun with that?
At some point, yeah, I did. Let's just say I'm glad I didn't win. I'm just glad I didn't win straight to Marsh Cave.
Yeah, that Marsh Cave was rough. Your opponent actually never went to Marsh, as I'm sure you can see if you pulled the stream up.
Yeah, I just did, and as I noticed, he did not promote, so...
Yeah, he saw what those guys were packing fairly early on. I can't remember exactly what he routed differently to see that. So yeah, he saw what they were packing in Marsh Cave and wanted none of it.
Yeah, so toxic guys are never fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, Yeah, no, you'll have a few bumps at the beginning, the frost spiders and all of that. You definitely made the right call early on, making that play to just go clean out Astos and see what you could see on that kind of Elfland stretch. Q went in the opposite direction, and I believe that's actually when he saw kind of the trouble that awaited in Marsh. And he wound up kind of following your footsteps for a while.
Well, I can't say I blame him for not going there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think. He actually wound up pulling ahead of you for a while, and I'm actually drawing a blank now that I think about it, about where that break point kind of happened. But he actually got into Temple of Fiends about 4 or 5 minutes before you did. I think he got in at 1:43, and you got in just after 1:48.
Okay.
Yeah, but he took a wipe on Kraken 2, because Kraken 2's first spell is Nuke.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah,
I did not see that.
Yeah, we weren't sure after that if Kraken had the script that said, hey, you're just gonna drop Nuke first. And he just dropped Nuke first again. So, Q pulled back and leveled, because he figured he was going to need everything he could get to get through this Kraken fight.
What level is he right now?
I want to say he's around 24 or 25. But yeah, that grinding just made that Nuke survivable. But as you might recall, you didn't see anything except punches out of Kraken.
Well...
sorry, chat just reminded me. Good job on the Pro Cape. In Marsh Cave. When you remember that you can just get it out of the linked chest. And remember to grab the linked chest.
Well, this is pretty much the only linked chest I remember in Marsh Cave.
I mean, it's the only one that matters. You're not going to take the extra 20 steps to check the other linked chest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there was nothing good in any other chest anyway, so...
Yeah. But you dug it out anyway like a champ, and I think actually that Marsh Cave dive may be what let Q get a little bit ahead of you.
Yeah, probably, but in the end it paid off.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like, that class change gave you access to a few bits of armor that he didn't. Now, ironically, Q did find both Excalibur and the Dragon armor on the 3rd floor of Sky.
Oh, okay. That's what I was looking for at some point, but I figured when I got Mass Mune, I was not looking for weapons. And when I was Go mode, I kept opening chests, just hoping to find either defense or white shirt.
Yeah, we figured you were looking for some kind of defense. I didn't think about the defense itself. I figured you were looking for like a ribbon or the dragon armor, just to make sure that Knight had a little bit more survivability.
And yeah, to answer the chat, I am French, I'm from Quebec.
Yeah. I do have to agree, you have a pretty good accent. But, anyway, Q has finally made it to Chaos, and hopefully his nuke luck on Kraken balances out with Chaos. If he gets the nuke first, then I'm not claiming credit for the commentator's curse. That's just Q being cursed. By me as a seed roller.
Yeah.
But, oh hey, look, there's the nuclear right out the gate! I am not claiming that as a commentator's curse. I stand by that, Q. I know you're going to watch this later, and you can call me out on it later. But, yeah, so his party survives the nuclear, again thanks to all those levels. So he is able to get his party back on their feet and continue to buff that fighter. And we saw this Chaos.
I just hope he's gonna survive the nuke.
Yeah.
Chaos also have nuke.
Yeah, but he does at least have enough time to... Okay, he had 2 nuclears. He is fortunately getting enough time to buff his party up, so... he should be able to end this pretty quick.
Yeah, Chaos was actually pretty squishy.
Yeah, 8 hits, 1300 damage. Unless Chaos kills this fighter right now, Q's about to end this on this next swing of mine.
Yep.
Because that should be... yeah, Chaos had about 2,000, I think, based on what we saw from you, and there's the nuke! So, nuclear chaos, but said nuclear chaos is also dead.
He's dead.
So, Get your GGs in chat for Q. He has finished with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 36 seconds.
Also, I just want to apologize not letting the ending plays because I just realized that my split and my reset button are the same.
That seems really dangerous.
Yeah, it is. And if I had noticed earlier, I would have just let the timer going.
So,
Okay.
I'm assuming I ran into everything nasty and Topher and DD didn't.
DD did see the nuke from Chaos, but he did not see any skills or spells from Kraken. And if he had, then we would probably still be sitting here. Because you both probably
maybe.
would have made the same call to grind up to the point to survive that nuke from Kraken. He also didn't...
GGQ.
Yeah,
So,
GGQ.
Yeah, nuclear nuke from Chaos. I love it. I'm just like, I know I'm gonna run into something more nasty because that's always what happens. I got max rolled nukes. If I can't survive one max roll nuke, I can't survive double nuclear. So I've made the adjustment. Do I disagree with that adjustment? No. I made the right adjustment. He just didn't see skills.
Yeah, no, you made the right call there. You had no way of knowing. Kraken's script, first of all, was always going to give you nuke first. We saw on DDG's side that you were just unlucky, or he was just exceedingly lucky, but either way, yeah. No, you cannot feel bad about making that call. And, yeah, DDG, did you actually see either of the, nuclears, or did you just
Nope.
see the nuke?
I just saw the nuke.
Okay, so Kraken had nuke. Carrie had tornado. And then I got nuclear nuked by Chaos.
Yeah.
I saw a few nasty stuff from Tiamat, but that's pretty much it. I saw poison and I saw was it swirl? I think I saw swirl from
Yeah, I think
Tiamat.
it was Tornado on Tiamat and Swirl on Carrie.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, but no, you actually made it into tow for about 5 minutes ahead of DDQ. If you had a little bit better luck on Kraken, we would have been sitting here waiting for DD to finish at this point.
I think the entire theme of the tournament for me is if I have this thing called luck, because that doesn't exist. Which is why I've never completed one of these seeds in under 2 hours, because if it's going to be bad, it's going to show it.
Yeah, so just so you know, the tail was the item in Marsh Cave.
I made a planned gamble that because Marsh Cave is in Bravenholm, and the theme of this tournament is not Sail the Seas for me. It's we don't go to.
Well,
and
I
the
did.
crack gargoyles are there too. Which I
Yeah,
ran into in TOF, the original world.
I've never seen crack from gargoyles, but I saw toxic from the geists. And lit 3 from the wraiths.
yeah, those wraiths were just fantastic. Alright, we're gonna fog 2 ourselves. Okay, that's fine, we can just go through this. And we're gonna lit 3 you!
I just want to say though, when I was almost done with Ice Cave and I got ambushed by 6 wraiths, I got nervous.
Yeah,
Because I knew they were all going to fog to themselves. I don't really care about that, but then I needed to run away from the fight before seeing too many lit 3.
Well, Lit 3 is a spell, not a skill. I'm sorry, Fog 2 is also a spell. You were right on that one.
yeah.
They could have still just turned on you with, I believe, it was damage poison or toxic at that point as well, so it's...
I think it had to have been damage poison because we saw
Yeah.
toxic off the Geists, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things, up until, I want to say, up until, y'all got the canoe, you were pretty much move for move. The only real divergence is, Didi went straight to Astos, where you went to check Provoca, Q. And then y'all synced up at Ice Cave. And
Yeah.
then once you both had the airship, everything was on the table. And y'all did not meet back up until Topher at that point. Didi saved Earth for last, or no, saved Sky for last. You did
Yep.
Earth for last. But, you know, when y'all went through the dungeons, you basically made a lot of the same moves. Q might have... Q checked a few more chests in Earth because he made an early Earth dip. But other than that, you guys were pretty evenly matched throughout this seed. It really did come down to Kraken 2 showed one of you something that he didn't show the other one, and that's an unfortunate thing to see happen in a race, but it is kind of the nature of the beast sometimes.
Kraken 2 or Tiamat 2 shows me something that the other runner didn't see. That's fine. I'm used to that one, but I'm glad all the plays I made, I stand behind them 100%. That Earth guy was questionable, but I was in the region anyways, and I wanted to check the chest. So
yeah,
that's the only other time that I did that. For people wondering why was I checking chests in Sky when I was in Go mode, I needed levels at that point.
Yeah, that's actually what chat. That's what we reasoned out in chat, was that you were taking those chest checks to find some extra experience. Because you were close enough to 21, and I believe we've had a conversation wherein we agreed that 21's kind of, okay, I can probably take Topher at this point range.
21 is, I have no business taking Topher in these flag sets. 21 or higher, the end. I'm never comfortable until at least 26. And I tried to push it at like 23 there, because I just felt that I was behind anyways, and I had to push for something.
Yeah. Okay, well, never mind. Maybe I'm the crazy one who feels like 21 is perfectly acceptable.
Oh, no, you can get through there at level 21. It's just if you run into one maxual nuke, you're going to lose a party member. Especially if you don't have life. I only had life on the white mage, which means if that nuke landed on my white mage high, I was out of life for the rest of the run. I said, nope, that's not... I said, I've run in double nuclear already this tournament, in practice and whatnot. Double nuclear is not even survivable with only one heal 3 caster.
Yeah, but no, I do have to agree. You have nothing to be ashamed of in your play. Neither one of you. Y'all made very good plays throughout. There were a couple of points where you may have taken double dips that you didn't mean to that you probably didn't need to take, but other than that, like, I think one thing that I also praised on DDG's side, when he found that Sarda had the loot, he just reset back to where he had saved, because he knew that he didn't need the loot and he was going to get the airship at some point.
There was no point coming back on foot.
Yeah, and that was a good heads-up play.
The only reason I didn't do that is because I wanted the money out of Titan's Tunnel, which I knew I was going to sail the seeds, so I needed the money. So
that's what I felt too, and I saved coming out of Titan's Tunnel. I went to Sarda's, got the loot, reset, went back through Titan's Tunnel, and just went back.
Yeah, the other reason I don't do that is because I have seen a seed before where floater was not required in this flag set. They are very rare, but if I find an item needed for go mode, I am not going to reset away.
Yeah, and that's also an intelligent play. Like I said, neither one of you played this seed badly. It really was just the dice gods decided who was going to advance. And, you can be salty about it, but you can't be mad.
No, I'm not mad about that seed. That seed threw exactly what I expected at that, and I'm just grateful for having another person to run against this week. So.
Yeah. And I'm grateful that there's going to be someone who is good on commentary next week's play-in races.
Yep.
That's Saturday and Sunday, if I remember right, next week, and I actually have both of those days off, so...
That's gotta be a rough one for sure.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's one of those things, DDG, you have as good a shot as anyone who's in that 2-3 group. And that's going to be an exciting race. Once we find out who all is in it, it's going to be real interesting. In any case, though, I believe we have some other action going on somewhere.
SG2.
Yeah, I see that Will Cleos has unmuted himself. Will, if you want to go ahead and do some promoing, we'll get some final thoughts and then get on out of here. Go for it.
Coming right up. What a great show from Mode. Well, that's one of the best shows I've ever heard. Thank you so much. Wukleos is here. We are live right now as we speak over on Speed Gaming 2. It's a Lastoid against Lord of the Synth in a match that will determine more last chance qualifier and play-in race implications. That's being brought to you by Triton GL, the Iron Man Triton GL, and TGE, the Greenleaf Experience. Coming up in just a little bit, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, also on Speed Gaming 2. Oh, whoa. The Enforcer, Falconic FF, and his 3-1 record goes up against the Dragon and his 3-1 record. Crystal, MTG. That's going to be brought to you by Cyclone GU of Speed Gaming and Shadowwalker227. I will be there. Woat, I know you're going to be there. We're going to watch that and enjoy that as well. 7 matches. Great action for FFR today. It is, May 11th, 2019, and it's been such a great tournament, Woat. We're just entering the bracket stages. We're about halfway through, and it's been such a success.
Yeah, absolutely, and it couldn't be done without the folks who are here watching or without the racers. Like, this has just been a fantastic time all around. But yeah, since we've got that race going on over on Speed Gaming 2, let's go ahead and get some final thoughts and get folks pointed in that direction. What do you guys say? DDG, your thoughts?
Well, once again, GG to Q. Seems like luck let me win this one, but what do you want? Luck is part of a randomizer. But yeah, I'm glad about that, and no shame on Q's part, because yeah, he was in tow for 5 minutes before I was. So I mean, he obviously did something right.
All right, Q, what about you?
Well, other than we don't dive Marsh Cave is number one, the thing I've always said. Number two is believe in the math, guys. If you've got any questions about it, don't get salty at the game, go look at the math. Because there's always a numerical reason why you can't do something and why you get punished for something. And just go back, know your numbers, know your maps, know your spell permissions. There's a lot of resources for people to learn these kind of things, and a lot of it is just going out on your own and just try and find what you need to get through it. So, team math all the way.
And yes, that does come dangerously close to doing math live on Twitch, but it doesn't count if your mic's off. In any case, though, I think that we're pretty much wrapped up here. What do you say, Woat? I think that that's a good thing to say, and, I personally just want to thank everyone for coming out here and for watching this race, and I would strongly urge you to change that 3 in your URL bar to a 2, and go watch Elastoid and Lord of the Synth, 2 excellent runners who are probably putting on one heck of a show right now. And, Woat, I think I'll let you have the last thought. Thank you very much, Woat. And, as always, I want to give shout-outs to the ladies in my life, Cinchilla and Twill, who are probably not watching this because I didn't tell them I was doing commentary, because this was kind of a, not last-minute thing, but the solo thing was a little bit. But that's beside the point. The point being, thank you to everyone. Thank you to Will and Super Luigi for tracking. Thank you, DDG and Q, for running. And we'll see you guys on the flip side. And seriously, come join us in the Discord.